again. I am Girish Gupta, and on behalf of HR Interact, I welcome you all for this evening. Let me recall the journey of HR Interact for all the members who have been with us for a long time and who have joined us today. Can I get a raise of hand who are coming here for the first time, please? Quite a few. Good. Welcome you all once again. HR Interact is a community of HR professionals. We started back in March 2018. It's a brainchild of a group of HR leaders from the industry. And the key differentiator of our forum is co-creation, fostering professionals coming together on a platform. And we as a community meet quarterly once and try and discuss on the topic which is latest, which is burning to all of us. We have conducted many such topics which are of importance to all of us in the past, like Guru Business, World Cafe. The last recent one, the one that we did was Unmask, Meet the Real Person. I hope you all must recall the same. And with this background, I would now invite Adi to proceed with the further session. Thank you.
You had an entire page to talk about. It was so fast. I was just chilling out in the background, thinking that he has still more to say. Good evening, everybody. Very happy to see you. I don't know whether you're happy to see me. Are you? I don't know. Is it? Yeah. Okay, all the new guys are saying that. Okay. Is it? No? Yes. Okay. All right. Super. Fantastic. So, many of us have met before, and sometimes I feel a little conscious being in front of this group. As a community member, I'm also one of the core team members at HR Interact, and sometimes I feel that I don't know whether the group will ever come back and say, why do we see this guy again? But then it's also what I believe, that there are a lot of people who believe in the work that we do together, and it's never me, it's actually you who's doing the real work here. So today we are here together for poles apart. And we're going to use our usual format. We're going to talk a lot. We're going to work in smaller communities in this room. And we're going to learn something together. And I want to promise you something right at the beginning. And it's going to be very brave to go up and actually go and promise straight away before even starting something, as action. Is that what we're going to do today sincerely can be life-changing. And I mean that because this is a framework that you will learn today, which is typically used for deep change. Okay? And we will practically work on that particular framework today. It's one of the rarest work that we ever do. And today we are very happy to do this work with the community. Okay? So let's begin with our own traditional style. You all have some pens and post-it in front of you. So pick up the bigger post-its which are there in front of you. One for each person. Are you ready? Yeah, so the earlier community members don't know our code. Anybody remembers our code to talk to each other? Yeah, super. Only 2 community members remember the code. So let me repeat that. Okay, so when I raise my hand, I would request you to raise your hand. Can we do this once? Okay? And don't put it down. My hand is still up. Okay? So when I raise the hand, you raise the hand, it means I am talking and you are listening. That's it. Now why do we need to do this? Please put your hands down. Is because this place is going to turn into a very, very noisy place, and there are times I want to talk to you to keep the program moving forward, because then there are more interesting things after what we do. So we don't want to keep that on pause or delay that. So to keep the program moving forward, I will give a small instruction or make a small request, and this is our communication code. And I would request you to follow the communication code so that I don't shout, in a very unruly manner, hey guys, listen to me. I'm not a motivational speaker, so we're not going to do that. Right? So whenever anybody notices the hand raise, please respond by the hand raise. And it means that I want to tell you something very small for about 10-15 seconds, and that's it. Okay? So you all have a post-it, you have a pen, and I want you to write down a polarity that you experience in life. Okay? So before you go, let's understand what's a polarity. So polarity are basically 2 things between which you always keep struggling. You try to achieve both. You try to make the 2 ends meet. So, can anybody give me an example of a polarity? Work-life. That's a popular polarity. So, we are going to ban that. Okay, and you have to think of something different. So yes, work and life is an amazing polarity. You do want to work, you're passionate about it, or it gives you meaning, or it gives you money, or whatever it gives you in life. Okay, that's an important aspect of our lives. And the second aspect of our life is the life, right? Which means our kids, our dog, the gym, the workout, the movie, all that stuff which is important to you. So this is a polarity which we typically struggle between many times in life. Now I want you to be creative and think of what are the other polarities that you struggle between in life or in work. Okay? And write down A versus B, which means work versus life, similarly A versus B. So about 30 seconds to think, write down any one polarity that comes to your mind. Remember, work life is bad. Once you're ready, clap once to let me know. Okay, how many of you are not able to figure out? Super, you can take work life. That's a cheat code. That's a cheat code, right? I kept the cheat code for the last, right? The discounts come at the end of the month. Alright, may I request you to now take your poster and please stand up. Okay? And in the next about 7 minutes, I want to go around and meet about 7 people. Okay? Go and share with them what's that polarity, how does it appear in your life, and don't forget to meet each other and introduce yourself, because one of the purpose of HR Interact is also to meet each other like a community, to become more stronger as a community. So don't dash into the polarity, but go meet the person and says, ma'am, what's your name? I can read it. Okay. And we kind of share a bit about each other. I share my polarity, you share your polarity, we talk a bit about the polarity, and we say next. Is that okay? Meet about 6-7 people in the next 7-8 minutes, okay? Keep moving around in the room. Make this the noisiest place ever. The great quality of being in this profession is that we can't stop talking. Okay, please do not take your seat, okay? Because we're going to do a lot more stuff together. May I ask you that what are some of the polarities that you found interesting when you spoke with each other? Yeah? Effort, money. Effort versus money.
Luxury versus money.
Luxury versus money.
More satisfaction and salary.
More satisfaction and salary. ये सबसे interesting लग रहा है मुझे. Work versus sleep. That was like a cheat code of the cheat code. That's yeah, it can be polarity. Business orientation versus employment. That's a very interesting one. Yeah, somebody else was raising the hand there.
Passion versus money.
Passion versus money.
Related peace of mind versus money.
Okay, I thought relatives versus peace of mind. You started saying relatives. Why did I hear that?
I said related to that.
Related, okay. Fine. I know relatives versus peace of mind, that's a very great polarity.
You got to live with it.
Yeah. I was dealing with half of the polarities that people mentioned. So fantastic. I'm very glad. And did you get to meet some interesting people as well? Yeah. And what a pity that some of the people here were meeting the people from their own company here. Yeah. Yeah. But I don't see a bunch of people like, hey, I'm from CS. Ah, you from CS? Okay. We work next to each other. Right, super. So, we are going to see this polarity. How do we feel it inside us in action? Okay? Are you listening? Yeah. So while you're talking these polarities, you must have realized that it does create some stretch inside. We would like to see that in action. We really want to feel that polarity in a more physical sense, and for which I would request each one of you to please come forward. Half of you on this side of the line and half of you on this side of the line. आ जाओ. Okay, so we are still warming up, we are still not taking a deep dive into the concept where you may need more time. So we are going to do this piece a little speedily, okay? Alright, so this is a box of gloves, and I would request you to keep your stuff on the table or in your pocket and wear the gloves in your hand, okay? Yeah, wear the gloves. Please remember there is no left and right in gloves, okay? You need to wear it in both the hands. What are you doing? You have a rope, you have gloves in your hand. Tug of war. When was the last time you did a tug of war? Yeah? In 19. Team building. How does tug of war do team building? I don't understand that. That's actually team competition, right? Super, fantastic. So, with due respect to all the pretty women in the room who are wearing saris today, I'm sure थोड़ी देर बाद वो गाली देने वाले होंगे. Okay, so this is the rope which I want you all to hold now and pass it to other people to hold it. Come forward. From both the sides you can hold it. Remember that. ये रेड पीछे रखो तो हम ये डालेंगे. Yeah. कहाँ से आ रहे हो? Yes. Now, all the people who are looking from far away thinking there is no space, they are not playing tug of war really, I am telling you that. You can actually have many more people coming in the group. Reality of our life. Imagine this group is work. This group is life. Half a step ahead, that's it. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! This is so funny, work always wins, yeah? This movie life की तो ऐसी कैसी हो जाती है? Okay, now people who have played can step back. People who really did not touch the rope come forward now. Are we listening? Yes. So I'm going to tell you a story while we are holding the rope, okay? Okay. So I have a colleague named as Raju. She's a chartered accountant. She was in finance first. Then she moved into HR. Okay, and then finally she opened her own bakery. You know her, and it's one of the best bakeries you can ever go. It's in Karadi, named as Tic Tac Toe, and which reminds me of the second polarity that somebody spoke here, and that's passion versus money. Yeah? Okay, so if passion wins, we all are going to open a bakery. If money wins, we'll quietly go back to our HR jobs. Okay? So, which side do you want to be? Passion or money? Passion. This time your money. Let's see what wins. Passion or money?
You knew it.
Look at the gender difference. Okay.
No, one step ahead, please.
3.
Okay.
2. 1. Start. we all have those little secret wishes between passion and money, work and life. It shows up in our business as well. And in our business, when we go, it's the employee centricity or business centricity. Like one of the very interesting ones that we spoke about in the past. Now, what are all of this that we are really talking about? Okay? And these kind of problems are called as wicked problems. You know what's a wicked problem? Something that is... Can you help me switch the screen, please? Problems which cannot be solved very easily. So how are wicked problems different from traditional problems? Traditional problems are problems that we have grown up learning to solve in some way or the other. Okay, so let's look at traditional problems. Typical traditional problems: improve productivity. Everybody wants it. Manufacturing, IT, we all want to improve productivity. Talk about reducing costs, talk about increasing sales, hiring people, firing people. These all are traditional problems. The method of thinking here is very linear. The methods that you use is like fishbone analysis, YY analysis, or sometimes your intuition and say, this is the way to go. You make observations, you take certain decisions, and so on. Then how are wicked problems different from traditional problems? Let's have a look at that now. So wicked problems are problems which look like, do I hire fast or do I do a deep check? Has anybody in the room experienced this before? Yeah? Do I hire fast or do I wait for the right person, you know? Saying yes to business demands or saying yes to what's right? Some people are smiling now. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand at this point. It's pretty risky if your boss is there in the room. How do I ensure project execution while maintaining safety of my people? This was during pandemic. We all went through that polarity. The result of pandemic. People won't work from home, organizations won't work from office. Yeah? How do I offer freedom and flexibility to our employees while providing essential human interaction? You work from home, there's no human interaction. You work from office, there's no flexibility. Okay? And I really want you to take a note of these statements pretty well, because these are also not opposites. If you see, these are not opposites. They look like opposites, but they are not. Focus on my deliverables or my team's deliverables. Or focus on my team's deliverables entire day, and then after 8 o'clock when they log off, then start opening your laptop and do your own stuff. Standardization and efficiency versus innovation and creativity. If I'm innovative, I'm not going to follow the standards so easily. Right? So, very difficult to deal with these problems. And we have no control, because this is the world that we are living in, the VUCA world, the Bani world, that's the world that we are living in. So we have no control of the situation. This is going to happen. We didn't have control over COVID as well. But what we really have our control over is our mental models. Mental models is the way we look at this problem. And I promised you before we start that what we're going to do today is going to be life-changing, because we are shifting the mental model. You guys are custodians of organization's culture, of people, of efficiency, of effectiveness, of business in many ways. And imagine each one of you is so powerful here in terms of your influence, that if your mental model shifts, you can create huge shifts in your own organization. Okay? So, how do we work with polarities? Okay? Let's learn that now. First, what's the nature of polarities? They are always positive and neutral. There's not one good or bad. Now, what do you mean by one good and one bad? Is that, should I earn money or should I become a beggar? That's not a polarity. But passion and money are not, both of them are not bad. Money is not bad, passion is not bad. So they both are positives, or they both are typically neutral. You want both of them. That's the problem. If it is good or bad, then you surely don't want the bad, you want the good, right? Yeah? Like choosing between French fries and being healthy. How many of you have faced this life crisis ever before? French fries and being healthy, I have always faced this crisis. Especially the McDonald's French fries, okay? They come in pairs of strengths, values. You see, passion is a value, money is a value.
Good question. So you're saying that French fry versus healthy is not really a polarity?
It is a polarity.
But is it one good, one bad? Then that test is...
So French fries represents taste. Taste and health is what I meant. Yeah, not really truly French fries. And I don't know why God made this, but almost all tasty things are unhealthy in life. Well, there can be debates around it. I don't go in that direction. That was just an example to say we typically want the taste. We also want to be healthy. Yeah, that was the kind of nature of French fries. I'm so happy that somebody's curious about it. Okay. Now they're always interdependent. So they're not independent of each other. You choose one, you leave the other, you choose the other, you leave the first one. And finally, like they look like opposites, but they actually support each other. If you think a little deeply, they support each other. Okay? Now consider the following statements. Now let's see how do we think about it. Look at these statements. What are these statements? How do we typically look at polarities? You're either for it or you're against it. Like a tug of war. So it's either healthy or tasty. It's either passion or money, work or life. Believe it or not, so many HR guys, they do workshops around work or life, how do we work through both. So, take it or leave it. That's again a sentence of or. Will it be South Indian or Thai today? For humanities, it has to be Yale or Harvard. If I go to sleep on time, I won't be able to study for the test tomorrow. Now, if you have noticed these statements, now I'm going to give you another set of statements to notice. And tell me, do you see any difference between the set 1? This is the set 1. Let me go to the same set 2. Less is more. The only constant in life is change. Look at some big smiles there. To have peace, we must have war. These are statements by some very famous people by them. Go slow to go fast. Is there a difference between set 1 and set 2? What do you think? The previous slide and this slide?
It has options. You will be able to take it with over here, it sort of is, from what I understand,
So see how minds are conditioned. It's philosophy. Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about, mental models. Okay? So let's talk about the system 1 and system 2 thinking. So it's said that in the new age, we are facing new kind of problems. We are not facing the problems of 1980s and 1990s anymore. The problem of, 2020, 2023 is different from that age in many ways. So if you look at your parents, many times you would have realized they're telling you that, oh, we used to come back home at 5 o'clock. How many of you have heard that from your parents before? Yeah. So they were not dealing with work-life balance. Had you talked about work-life balance to them in 1980, they were like, what shit is this? I don't understand. What is work-life? I go to work at 9, I come back at 5:30, life is set. Right? I get a raise every 7 years. And on and on and on and on. So these are new age problems that we are facing. And the new age problems need new age thinking. So simple problems, traditional problems can be solved with system 1 thinking. What is system 1 thinking? That's what we have grown up studying in schools. That's the real problem. Right or wrong thinking. So in your school, they always ask you, true or false? Right or wrong? Do you remember those questions? Yeah? Foundations are laid in our education and training. And we always pursue the right answer. What's the right answer to this? While the system 2 thing says, there is no right answer between work and life. There is no right answer between fast hire and a good hire. There is no right answer between any other business 2 polarities that you're talking about. People and profit. Yeah? And it needs believing, like what you just mentioned, philosophical here. It needs believing, it needs balancing, it needs management, and it needs a way to deal with new age problems. Is there a word for that? Let's have a look at the word for that. The left-hand side system 1 thinking is called the either or mindset. That's a mental model that we have grown up with and conditioned with. Any guesses what is the system 2 thinking? What's the word for that? So this is a work of a famous person called as Barry Johnson. He in fact wrote books on polarity thinking. And his latest book, the title of the book is And. So he has worked about 40 years in polarity management, and he has written only about polarity management, nothing else. And all his books are about the same thing. It's a lovely book to read, called as And, or even Polarity Management, one of his original works. And he rocked the world with this thought. So, like some great economist who changes the world's thinking, Barry Johnson really changed the world's thinking by introducing this one simple word, and that's And. Okay? And we are going to learn the And form of thinking today practically, so that you believe in it, learn to balance it, and solve new-age problems with it. Let's see how Barack Obama did that. He says, the issues that cross my desk are hard and complicated, and oftentimes involve the clash of not a right and wrong, but of two rights. You have to reconcile competing values that are equally legitimate. A week back, I had a colleague to whom I was scheduled to give a raise. So we typically sat and we said, so in our organization we kind of discuss before we release the letter. We don't just bomb the letter on paper. Okay, and he was expecting a pretty good raise, and he's a super high potential person. And the moment he asked for the raise, the kind of raise that he asked for, it opened my jaw almost down. Like, wow, this is the money that you want. Awesome. Okay, but I kind of believe that he's creating way more value than what he could buy. Then I go back to my finance person and says, you know what, this person is asking this money. He said, that would be unfair to everybody else in the organization. You know that, right? Because people with the same qualifications, same experience, same age, typical answers that he was giving me is like, they are getting much lesser, how can we pay more? And we kind of cracked our head about 2 days around it. And later I told, the problem is I'm dealing with two rights. The finance guy is right, this gentleman is also right. How do I choose? I don't pay a worthy person, he's going to leave. If I pay him, it's unfair to the other people. And eventually what we decided that, okay, now we have to give raise to other people also. And like, that's cost to the company. So there's no straight answer to a wicked problem. Satya Nadella, is it the...
Now everybody is thinking, how will we solve it?
No, I don't want to get there. I have Aditya sitting in the room, he's my colleague, he's in the same organization. Right? If I further disclose, it will be a breach of confidentiality. Okay, and you're also a small company, you almost spot a person about whom I was talking, you know. So, he says empathy and result orientation. Talk about the CEO of Lego. He says take charge and let go. Let's do it together. All these philosophical stuff, let's put it in action. So how do we really work with polarities? Is not gyan, but a tool. And are you interested in a tool? A real tool which can help you to deal with polarities. Do you want to experiment with that? Ready? Okay. How many of you have heard of polarity maps before? Awesome. So I should hand over the mic to you. Super. So I'm going to show you a picture which is called a polarity map, and we're going to make a polarity map together, and you'll feel the shift inside you in the next 30-40 minutes. Okay? So this is a polarity map. The screen has almost narrowed my slides, but that's okay. You're going to get a hard copy of this one. So I'm going to zoom into this. So there's the left hand side and the right hand side, and there's an and in between. So there are two circles here. Let's imagine, just for simplicity's sake, I'm repeating the example. Let's imagine the left hand side is good, the right hand side is light. Okay? The top two boxes are pluses. The bottom two boxes of the map are minuses. Okay? These two circles are called the poles, and hence the name of our event today, poles apart. Okay? So the left hand side is the left pole and the right hand side is the right pole. And here we are talking about what happens when we focus on the left hand side pole. So let's talk about word. What happens when you focus on the word pole and do good work? What happens? What do you get? Satisfaction. Huh? Completion, recognition, sometimes appraisals and so on. Alright? So So that's the left hand side of the pole. What's the right hand side of the pole? Is the positive of life. What happens when you have a plus of life? You're more leaner, your stomach is losing inches, your kids are jumping over you, and all of that is happening towards the right hand side of the pole. I'm taking examples, you need to write serious stuff, okay? So what it really means to you, okay? On the bottom side is the minus of over-focusing on the left pole. Listen to the statement where is the minus of over-focusing on the left pole. So what happens when you over-focus on work, as an example? There's a health issue which comes in. You're seen as workaholic. Yeah? Your spouses leave you and dump you. Yeah? I'm telling you, 50% of the people in the room have this fear. Okay. That if I really work the way this way, someday my spouse will come and tell me, what is this? Okay? And so on and on and on. Towards the right hand side, when you're focusing too much on life, you're seen as not serious about your work, there's no growth in life, and so on. And if you notice, there's this diagram here, which goes like an infinity loop. And how many of you noticed that this blue box was almost matching the benefit of this blue box in a negative way? And this was also taking away the orange box. And hence we say it's like an infinity loop. You'll experience it when you do it, so I don't want to get into details of that. Okay? The left hand side and the right hand side has certain words written on it, just ignore that for now. Just let's look inside this particular box. Okay? Remember, work and life is banned. We already talked about many other polarities. Each table needs to have about minimum 6 people. Just check how many people are there on your table. If your table has less than 6, get up, move into a table with about 6 people. 6 plus. 6 or 6 plus. So are you 6? I think I can count to 6. Yeah. Is that the 6? So you're waiting for some people to land on your table. So tables which are less than 6, don't wait for people to come because the people are waiting for you to come. Okay? Alright. So we are going to hand over the polarity maps to you, and our first goal is to work on the box here and ignore what's on the left and right for now. Okay? Step 1, decide any one polarity that you would like to work upon as a group. Are you ready with that? Step 1, you got it? Okay? Decide any one polarity. There were some very interesting polarities which came up. People versus profit can be one of those. Okay, business needs and employee experience pretty much similar. Okay, hire fast, hire soon. Or hire fast, hire good. Matching, fitment, and so on. So think of one polarity which is unique. The group agrees to that polarity in 2 minutes. Remember, you're experiencing a tool. You're not solving your life problem in this room today. Okay? And all the people who are still sitting in the balcony, can you please come to the stalls? Did you pay for money, guys? While booking the ticket? They didn't pay, so they're sitting outside. Okay, join the tables, you leave the table. Come. You all from the same company, are you? Okay. Sudesh, am I touching the wrong thing? Step 2. Do the pluses of each pole and the minuses of over-focusing on each pole. Just fill it inside the box.
इसके positives यहाँ पे
Positives now.
Guys, when my hand is up and your hand is up, it means I am talking and you are listening. Okay. I just need 30 seconds from you and then you can continue doing what you are doing. I know you have gotten very passionately into it. Some very epic polarities have come in this room. Business versus people. Life and death. Yeah, I got in a question around life and death, how are they polarities? But then the kind of conviction and explanation that they had around was, I need it, okay? Nobody takes me seriously, okay? Alright, the heart and the mind, listening to the heart and listening to the mind. That was one of the epic polarities. And then there were others around passion and, there's a lot of things like me, passion and work. And those are more realistic polarities which we face every day. Okay. As I told you, I want to give you 30 seconds of what next. And then you can continue. If you take this back, you're not taking back anything yet. Because the magic is really going to start now. Now, we have only defined the polarities and seen its effects. A lot of this which is there in your awareness somewhere in the background, but you're seeing it together right now. The truth is, how do we deal with it? So for that we're going to do some little small exercise, okay? Please take your phone, don't use it. Keep the screen locked, okay? Take the sketch pen which is there in front of you on the table. Remove the cap of the sketch pen and make the pen lie on your phone. Yes, super. Can I see it? Not this pen. ये बड़ा महंगा वाला पेन लिया है हमें रेगुलर सस्ता वाला स्केच पेन लेना है okay place it on your phone put your hands around this okay like this there's a phone there's a pen okay don't cheat by keeping your fingers at the edges alright I'm doing that because I want to cheat right now okay and I want you to draw an 8 Okay. Okay, don't worry, you're not getting anything out of it. Okay, so people are not giving up, stop it. I told you you're not getting anything out of it. But I was just trying to draw your attention to what was really happening. You're moving the phone, the pen is rolling, right? When it's rolling towards the right, what are you doing? How are you balancing? You're turning the phone towards the bit of the left. And when you turn it towards the left, what happens? It starts rolling towards the extreme left and then what do? Balancing polarities is like walking on a tight rope. The trick to not fall is to move in the opposite direction of where you feel you're going to fall. I said something very profound. Okay? You want me to repeat that? Okay. The trick to not fall is to move in the opposite direction of where you feel you're going to fall. Remember, you're not moving in the opposite direction after you fall from the tightrope. So balancing polarity is walking on a tightrope and moving in the opposite direction of where you feel that you're going to fall, not after the fall, before the fall. And when you move in the opposite direction, you feel that you're falling on the opposite side and you move in the opposite direction. Modern day problems, wicked problems, cannot be solved. They have to be managed. And we need a system to manage. And the system is right outside the box that you made on your paper, chart papers there. So what's outside the box is action steps here, warning signs, early warning signs. So what's the early warning sign? Moving left when you feel that you're falling towards the right is an early warning sign. That feeling is the early warning sign. After you fall and you crash, that's not a warning sign. That's a crash. Okay, so we don't wake up too late when we are doing polarity management. And I also want to give you an example because this is a tricky and a little difficult piece to do. Remember, it's a 40-year-old work. It's the toughest work in the world. So it may be a little tricky to get this one. Let's try to get this one. So, what are the action steps to listen to the heart? Let's say, an example. To listen to the heart is to be aware of my feelings. Name the feeling. Listen to the heart is to journal. These are action steps of listening to the heart. Whoa, this doesn't give a shock, right? Okay, looks like electric stuff. Okay, the action step towards the right, which is listening to the mind, is to do a pen paper thinking. Use an Excel before critical decisions. Use the pros and cons method. Or whatever you feel like, you can write your own action steps. Okay? What are the early warning signs to know you're listening more towards your heart is one or two small stupid decisions. When I get feedback from my people, when I regret, the early regrets, when I sense that something is not right, these are early warning signs. What are the early warning signs of listening too much to your mind? People stop talking to you. Yeah? Now, I don't understand this. Many organizations say that you're facing the attrition problem. What were you doing before you faced the attrition problem? It's a hard question. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend anybody here. But trust me, attrition just doesn't happen. A person doesn't wake up on a smiling face like, hey, I'm designing up. The person is giving you a lot of indicators, right? The environment is giving you indicators that things are going to happen in that way. But what do? We wait until the Excel file comes out with the attrition figures to take action on it. That's after the fall. But when you start getting early signs, what are the early signs? People reporting late to work. More leaves in the organization is a great sign that something is not right. Yeah? If you have pulse surveys, what do you see in the pulse survey? One of the first signs of attrition is people don't respond to the pulse survey. Forget, they stop saying negative. People saying negative is not a sign of attrition. People not filling the survey is a sign of attrition because now there's indifference, right? Why should I even fill up? These are early warning signs that attrition is going to happen. So these are indicators. These are light indicators. Okay? What's the early warning sign of growing weight? A little tight, little. The moment you realize it's a little tight, stop eating the French fries. Simple. Don't eat it for 2 days. Eat it after 2 days. But it's a little tight today, and I'm still going to go to McDonald's. We face big problems in life because we ignore the small indicators. Big problems, unless it is something by nature or God's hand, don't land upon us. Sometimes we create them. So the next 10 minutes is to write the action steps for achieving this polarity and the action steps for achieving this polarity. And both we work together. So we listen to the heart, we also listen to the mind. I do my job, I also open the bakery in the evening. Yeah? And early warning signs here and early warning signs. But the clue for success in polarity mapping is that none of your list should be more than 3. So don't be too creative to write 7 indicators in each section. Less is good really. So 2, maximum 3. So 2 actions, 2 actions, 2 early warning signs, 2 early warning signs. That's it. So about 6 to 7 minutes to work on your actions and early warning signs. Respond to the hand code. Stop wherever you are and listen. We have just one last thing left. Okay, are you ready? But I need your 100% attention. Okay, so I'm going to check whether you are paying attention to me or not. So I want you to do what I do. Are you ready? Yes. So I'm checking your attention. Do what I do. 1, 2, 3. People who clap, now wake up. Alright. How was your experience? If you can tell me in short, because we're also a little behind time today. We started late. So exciting.
Clarifying.
Huh?
Clarifying.
Lot of
Mind-boggling. Clarifying.
confusion. The way the polarity
Deep.
is mind and heart.
Brainstorm.
Lot of confusion.
Lot of confusion. What did you pick up as a polarity? Okay, but any confusion about the methodology? No, method is the confusion between the mind and heart. So you already have an early indicator that you're listening to your heart. Okay. Guys, focus. Don't focus on the sheet. We are going to give you this sheet on WhatsApp. You can use it in your organizations. You can run a mini workshop on your critical business problems. Okay? You are free to use this. But now is the heart of this word. If you don't listen to this, then it basically means that you're taking a great map, but you don't know how to use it. So here's the usage. And this is going to give a ting in your head. I'm sure, I promise you, someone is going to listen to a ting now. Okay? The moment you start noticing the early warning signs of this pole, what do you do?
Action.
The action, which action? Exactly. So when you see this early warning sign, you start taking this action. When you see this early warning sign, you start taking this action. And that's the exact act of balancing the pencil or walking on the tightrope. So there's the early warning sign and an action. Early warning sign on the left side, action from the right hand side. And that's why it looks like the infinity diagram in between. Okay? Now what next for all of us? We have work-life problem, we have big problems in the world. You know what is the biggest problem? Guys, listen. Chit-chat, 2 minute baat. Any guesses what is the biggest polarity that we are living in every single day across the globe? And it's going to impact us so hard that many of us are happy being aloof about it and not even looking at it. What is it? Acceptance versus reality. Okay? Something very real, something that can kill us almost, and I mean it literally. AI is not going to kill us. Maybe it does, I don't know. Yeah, somebody talked about something. Climate versus capitalism. Climate versus capitalism is the biggest polarity. And trust me, many of us are not confident that our children are going to have a great life. It's a huge problem. We are running by capitalism for the last 300 years. And now there's a lot of eyewash around the climate. And I don't think we can save this world by just stop using plastic bags. Just that. That's important. But there's a lot more significant steps required. If you really want our kids, just the next generation, to live a more fuller life, live till 18, be healthy. So why many of you would go back and look at your personal polarities? Some of you may look back and go to your organization and solve some organizational polarities. As an HR community, we can also come together, look at some of the world polarities and take small actions of that. We don't shut down capitalism, go in the village and start saying we have power. But we can do small things to save this planet. You've made enough money already. Trust me, it's more than enough for many of us. Yeah? So hope that you're able to balance your polarities pretty well. That's all from my side. And Adi, an HR Interact team member, signing off for today's evening. And thank you. And I'm handing over the mic to Tulsi.
Hello everyone. Is my voice on? I hope now it is. So,
Yes.
hello everyone. I hope you've enjoyed the activity.
Yes.
Yes. Fantastic. Great. So it's said that, and we all know that there are multiple partners that work together for any kind of event or activity or program to put together. And one of the most important partners that we always have for any program is the sponsor. So I would like to talk a little about our sponsor partner today. And our sponsor partner for today is the founder and CEO of Square Recruit organization, Mr. Kedar Deshpande, and I welcome him here. Kedar, if you could just So we'll just take a couple of minutes or maybe less to talk about Kedar, so we'll get to know about him, and then I hand it over to him to talk more about himself and the organization. Okay. So Kedar is a BE Mechanical and MBA in Marketing. He comes with more than 25 years of rich experience in recruitment and sales. What a deadly combination, isn't it? In global market working and large enterprises in India, globally in UK, Europe and North America. Prior to his recruitment venture, the Square Recruit, he has worked with Carrier Aircon and Hitachi in sales and marketing for almost 8 years. He is based out of London, UK currently, and this is since last 18 years. I would pause now and Kedar, I hand over the mic to you. Welcome once again. Let's hear it for Kedar.
Thank you everyone. The biggest polarity I have now is HR Interact has given me only 10 minutes and I have to talk about a big end-to-end HR system. So it's like a crazy polarity. So I'm Kedar Deshpande. I am originally from Pune and almost 18 years of my life I've been hands-on recruiter. So it's a very, very difficult job. I've faced, I've done it so many years. So while my previous recruitment experience, typical problems and pain points what I have faced is invariably candidates would disappear on the day of joining. I think everybody must have faced it. So how to address this candidate ghosting and can we reduce it? Is there any way we can control it? Is it possible to know in advance if offered candidate is not joining and they have decided to take any another offer? Is it possible? How to ensure there is a close communication with candidates throughout the hiring process so that we can do some proactive work and ensure that project deadline doesn't affect. Is there a way to get best candidate faster? Again, biggest problem and polarity. Passive sourcing using existing database effectively. And is it possible to automate candidate validation, repetitive tasks, day after day, endless, hard-working manual process can be automated. Not finding the right people at right time stops progress and it costs millions of dollars. Search-based hiring is very, very unpredictable and super competitive. So many people are doing it at a time. Talent acquisition team target largely works on instincts and they work under extreme pressure. And it's a very time-consuming job and highly manual process to source, screen and get the candidate. And it is very expensive it costs so much for a right hire and it costs much more for a bad hire. So keeping all this in mind and so many other challenges in mind, we decided to develop a product which is Square Recruit. It is end-to-end talent acquisition system. So what are the key features we have? It has got very deep ATS. Deep means it's like role-based, every user, every role-based access, and it has got expanded work structure and approval process, so that on the fly you can keep on adding different BUs, sub-BUs, and approval happens systematically. Role-based access to all stakeholders, your internal stakeholders as well as external third-party stakeholders, which are your vendors, as well as if you are doing a lot of campus hiring, you can connect universities into the system so that the flow happens seamlessly, update happens seamlessly. Lot of AI-powered bots, starting with percentage matching, to candidate assessment, to interview scheduling, to email application tracking. I see so many people post social media, job request with single email ID, careers@domainname.com, and I'm wondering how are you guys managing it? Hundreds of CVs for so many jobs on one email ID, and invariably you will be missing good candidates. So we have a bot solution which can work on it and redirect all suitable candidates into the ATS. Then dynamic job posting, which all must be doing it, integrated with job boards, or even if job boards are not integrated, still you can use our system. Then we have inbuilt video interviewing, which does recording, storing, everything easy access. We have vendor portal, candidate portal, ensure that endless communication, end-to-end communication happen with your vendor to end candidate, not only during submission but till end of the process. So this will reduce entire communication wastage happens between candidates following with vendors, vendors following with recruiters, everything is automated. And obviously analytics and reports, data-driven analytics. So with the Square Recruit, we are basically trying to address the pain points. What I spoke of earlier is ghosting. With candidate portal, we have better candidate experience with candidate login. So what it means is, from inviting candidates for a job till they come on board, you do close communication with them, you sense their body language, ensure that onboarding process starts in time, and it's a very secured employer login to candidate login communication. So that is what basically we have. How to get best candidate faster? Solution is by enabling legacy database effectively. Auto matching, you don't have to do any manual work. Whenever any requirement comes, automatically from your legacy database, CVs will be matched against the role. You automatically do evaluation, assessment, including screening, everything, so that your pipeline is properly built up. How to reduce energy and efforts in doing repetitive tasks? Again, bot-based, intelligent percentage matching, candidate assessment, interview scheduling, and email applications. So this would largely help you to focus on the polarity, faster candidates quicker. Other benefits is our system is so easy to configure. Typically, if you deploy any recruitment system, everybody must be aware it's a long process. It takes time, so companies are really thinking that whether I should change the system or not. Square Recruit is easily configurable. Typically, if you have 2,000 to let's say 10,000 employee size of a company, then we can deploy within 2 to 4 weeks. It is that fast, so that it doesn't, you don't have to really think too much. It is very flexible, affordable, and all these solutions we can integrate with your existing system. That is the biggest thing. So if you are using any of the system and if you feel that something is missing in our system and we still have pain points, please talk to us. Me and my team, everybody is here. We are really happy to show you and talk to you, and we can discuss how we can fulfill your pain points with Square Recruit. We have many customers. We have many customers from Pune who are using it. One of our early adopters has been Sears Holding, which is a Pune-based company. We also work with Saxoft. So Sears team, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity, and we are really happy to serve them. So largely the product is validated. We are doing a lot of international deployments. It is pure India-based company, and we are deploying to overseas companies. So we obviously want to work with all of you so that you get the experience of how Square Recruit can help you. So our entire objective, or what we are doing now, we help our clients to find the right people 60% faster and reduce the cost of hire by 32%. So that is how you can achieve it end-to-end hiring platform, which is Square. So I would like to invite my colleague. He is Sharat Srivastava. He is a co-founder and CTO. Very deep experience. He is ex-Accenture, ex-Wipro. He is a backbone of Square Recruit.
So, probably I don't want to bore with you techie stuff just before dinner. Just want to touch upon, what are the key technologies that are shaping up that are going to be very impactful in the recruitment process as we are beginning the new age. Thank you. All right, so just wanted to check, what do you guys hear often nowadays, maybe this year especially? What are the 3 key technology stuff that you keep hearing day and night? 3 areas. So, without ChatGPT, without AI and without ML, you probably wouldn't wake up at all. So that's the life that's been taken for granted now, right? So, just want to touch upon 5 technologies that are kind of really shaping our entire HRMS life, I would say. I start with chat GPTs, or chatbots. Okay, so I'm sure most of you must be using chatbots now, especially in the employee self-service where they have a policy-related doubts and etc. But as you see right now, the way it is heading towards, as you see that ChatGPT is nothing but the generative AI. So it is more leading towards self-learning as it experiences with more and more problems. Okay, so that is leading towards in a way which will help you to shape up, getting logical and what I would say is analytical testing, specifically in those areas that ChatGPT is entering. What it means is that you can deploy the ChatGPT based bots that will help in assessing candidates not just procedurally but by self-learning, and literally they'll start an interview. So that is not too far away because it's literally getting in as the models get trained. Okay. So what we have done within Square Recruit, we have, as Kedar mentioned, we have enabled the bot-based evaluations. What it helps is that largely it is the procedural driven. Okay, you can define set of procedure-based questions and that can shoot to the candidates. Specifically, it is going to be useful if you are recruiting a large number of people or you need to screen a lot more people. Okay. So we are heading towards like this self-learned bots, okay, that will enable logically grab things. So it will largely decrease your screening process. That's on the chatbot stuff. If you have any questions on this stuff, happy to take forward.
Just a question. Even in the screening process,
if I'm taking this assessment report, anybody can take or even somebody else take it as well. So how do you validate if the right person
Is the right person? I'll come up with the next point.
So one question from you. You said about this body evaluations as candidates. So how the technology, role-based assessments can happen in these body evaluations?
So there are two models. So one is that we can prepare a large question banks that are specific to different competencies, and those competencies typically map to the roles, and then you generate the set of randomized questions that can be issued to candidates for screening, so that not as each candidate will get the same set, but they meet your end competency goal.
So what?
So see, as I said, there are two models available. One is the procedural based model, other one is the self-learning based model. In the self-learning based model, what happens is that as you define a goal competency, so you try and keep training the models. Okay, what it means is, again, it's like, four people not necessarily have to think the same way, right? So that outcomes will be fed to the generative AI models that will help defining, right? So the difficulty, the choice of questions and the end result will be based on how you are going to define your end competency goals.
Are you guys working on programming your generative AI model?
Yes.
To be able to accept answers and then figure out the next question?
So I would say it is a bit more time to go. Right? It is right now the way ours is it's a kind of a logical derivatives. Like say for example you said A. So if A is a kind of a choice, the difficult choice of greater than 1 or 2, then you branch to another logical step.
You have to program to those.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's what we're
Right. Okay, the next area, I'm sure you all would face is how do I use large amount of data that I gather as a part of your entire recruitment life cycle, right? Like be it like sourcing, be it like screening, identifying, etc. But end of the day, I keep hearing from the recruitment fraternities that I don't get really a good reports out of it. How do I really derive knowledge out of it so that I can take a better decision, like say better recruitment strategy I can create, a sourcing strategy. Okay. So what would be my best sourcing strategy, or what would be my best, XYZ evaluation steps, or is it my recruitment team is effectively working, in sourcing, blah blah, etc. Right? So the often we tend to look at the past data, right? Yeah, data looks great, my report looks great, and I have a great graph. But what do I do next? Right? That's the question all the time. So that's where we landed in predictive analytics. Okay. Predictive analytics is nothing but you take care of, use your the existing data, the past data, and try to draw inference out and take a decisions on it. Specifically, it is very well used in building your sourcing strategies. So again, we focus a lot on the KPIs, so which helps you kind of draw inference towards and take decisions, etc., or the building of better strategies at various points in the recruitment life cycle. Any questions on the analytics? So I think you raised this question. So it's one of the biggest headache right now, right? I myself have seen actually in some of the clients I sat in the interviews to see how badly industry is turning, especially after COVID, right? Almost 80 to 90% of recruitment is happening on the video, right? So, so one of the cool technology that is evolving is how do I identify, right, about the facial gestures and is the candidate is right fit or is he really lying or is, etc., etc. Those are some of the key attributes you have to identify as a part of your video interview, right? So that is where the video analytics is actually evolving. So there are, a couple of technologies that are available right now, specifically focusing on identifying these traits. Film it is still not really great yet, okay? But this is the direction we are heading into, and it's largely we are reaching to that point. The moment I see a gesture, I'll be able to identify, how well he is fit to your culture. You can define a goals of, culture goals of, the individual facial gestures, and then we'll be able to derive the facial analytics. Okay. So one of that being one of the core pain point. So what we have done in Square Recruit, we have completely integrated the entire video interviewing as a part of our evaluation process. So you don't have to go out of the system. You don't have to go to Teams or you don't have to go to Google or create a different meeting place. So it's completely inbuilt. A recruiter can just pick it up and schedule an interview. So it will go to interviewer, and interviewer can conduct as a part of process, and you can continuously watch, and you can capture all the feedback simultaneously. So while we have not reached to display the what's happening with the candidate, but the intent is along with that we are going to display what are the vital elements related to that candidate. How good is he behaving? What is he talking about? Is there a noise that is? I did see a bunch of examples where a guy will be talking and you wouldn't realize till 10 minutes that there is someone else is sitting in the behind and actually taking the interview. Okay. So we've been experimenting. How do we capture those frames together that makes it that there is a fraud happening. Okay, another evolving area is how do I predict, as I interview or as I take a candidate through various stages of evaluation, how do I know he's a really right candidate? Like say you might have completed tech round, second round, third round, whatever, then you would have already spent a lot of time. As it goes further, your cost is going to increase because you are going to deploy senior resources to interview the candidate, right? So can we predict the outcome? So that's where I think moving towards considering the past, the data of evaluation, because we have a comprehensive feedback framework which will help to, at an organization level, you can define your, various competencies or traits and etc. as a part of your feedback framework, which can be fed to the ML framework, which can actually predict, based on past data. Say something like, this is a Python candidate, I've completed, XYZ test, and there is a possibility of joining in this area, in this particular location. So we will be able to predict whether he is the right person that he may get into organization. We are still not there, but those are the models that we are working on, and that's how the industry is going to operate as well. So as soon as you derive the completed one stage of evaluation, you'll be able to predict whether candidate can be the right fit. Oops. So just the last one. So I'm sure the moment you send out the offer letter, you don't know whether the candidate is going to join, right? So there's a lot of decline ratio. So how do you engage, number one, and how do you ensure that you start continuously feed him or feed him with your organizational culture, right? And continue to communicate. So I think the AR and virtual reality is the one that is really framing up or coming to a shape now to engage candidates in much more realistic manner or give them immersed experience that that can get engaged more. So still it is again the most evolving area in that area. So what we have been doing, our candidate onboarding again is a quite a comprehensive framework we have. Typical onboarding is again a lengthy exercise of sending a lot of forms and etc. So we kind of tried doing completely automate the whole stuff. So to enable a smoother and painless getting the candidate onboarded. So those are some of the key technology trends that what we have been working on, and those are some of the key features of Square Recruit that what we have. Okay. So if they are not here,
thank you listening to us and understanding Square Recruit. So we are looking forward to interacting with you in a networking session and share more information. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Kedar and Shekhar, Sharad, and your team as well for taking us through this product. Thank you so much. So, I'll be very quick. I know a very interesting activity after our session is awaiting us. So, when I say activity, we're meeting each other, is what I mean. A couple of things, just a quick recap of what we did. So we started with our icebreaker session, interacted with each other, we had a tug of war activity, and we saw कि कैसे work में life की band बजाई. In real life, not here, is what I mean. And the key message that we actually take away from the polarity activity is the early sign that we see, immediately we take an action, right? So in today's times of complexity, we have challenges, and challenges are often on the other side of, on the either sides, and we oscillate between how we would want to solve those challenges. And Adi took us through a very interesting model on the polarity mapping as to how we can use that and help solve those challenges instead of trying to see which one to solve, rather try and see how we can do both with that tool. And not just in our organizations, but in also our personal lives. So, thanks for that. A few thanks to be said in the end. I would like to firstly begin with thanking all of you, because it's you, the community, that makes the program, makes the HRN track what it is. And so if you're not here, let's not be so miser for ourselves, right? I mean, we can hear a large round of applause. I thank you for your enthusiasm, for your participation in all the activities. It was nice. The next I would like to thank is our sponsor team. And would request them to please come up, Kedar and Sharad, and request Anshuman to please hand over a token of appreciation as a memento from our side.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anshuman. Our hospitality partner, Hotel O&M team. ARC team, Adi, Aditya, and everybody else who is not here, I think even Ada, thank you so much. And lastly, the managing committee. So may I request the MCT members to come here? Everyone, please. Very quickly, do we walk towards the screen, please? There are some of our team members who couldn't make it, but they're also part of the MC, so fantastic. So with that, this is a wrap-up from the activity perspective, from the program perspective, but please join us in the pre-function area for food and drinks. Also, we'd like to have a group photograph as a ritual, like we always have for our program. So do we assemble here, everyone please? While we assemble, I would like to make one more announcement that there is a goodie bag from our sponsors that we will have at the session, the registration desk. So before you leave, please to pick one for yourself. Thank you. Let's come here, everyone, please.